Hi, everybody. I'm going to use the microphone, even though I don't really need it. Are we live streaming or are we recording?
We are live streaming.
We are live streaming. So I am going to use the microphone so I can be heard across the interweb, right? I am Tracy Heider-Suffern. I serve as the executive director here at the National Jazz Museum in Harlem. And this is always my favorite part of the job because I get to welcome all of you and I get to ask I think they're fun. Not everybody else might not think they're fun, but I get to ask fun questions just to get sort of a beat on who's in the room. Who's here for the first time? Welcome. Welcome to all of you. I like to say that once you've been here for the first time, this is your home. Welcome home. And please come back often. We don't do holidays. We're closed on holidays, but who's a member? Welcome back. Who else? Was there somebody else? Well, of course you remember. Ray. Welcome back. Who is from Harlem? Oh, okay. All right. I got scared for a second. I was about to say that's never happened before. Who is from Queens? Yeah, that happens a lot. Who's from the Bronx? The Bronx is always in the house. I even hate asking the question. Who's from Brooklyn? Okay. Who's from Staten Island? Oh, yeah, right. So Shaolin is always in the house when I'm here. It is, what you're about to experience is the second in a series of what I have described as a dream come true. I am very proud to say that probably in the past 2 or 3 years, something that we worked on, one of the things that we've worked on, I've been here 7 years, so one of the things that we've worked on for the past 7 years was bringing not only racial equity and social equity, but gender equity to the National Jazz Museum in Harlem. And I can stand before you today and say that more than 50% of the performances, presentations, lectures that we offer here at the museum are led by women. Yeah. So that's 1A. 1B of that goal is to be able to say that 50% of our performers and lecturers and presenters are women. So we're on our way. I'm also really proud to say that in the past 2 years since the pandemic, we've served more than 24,000 pre-K to 12 kids right here in the museum or digitally in their schools. We have a special focus on Title I schools, and it's always so fascinating to me to find out that when those young people come into the museum, for many of them, it's not only the first time they've visited Harlem, but it's often the first time they've left their own boroughs. So this is a place where we work really hard, not only to introduce jazz and history, but to stimulate young minds and expand horizons. You might have noticed when you came in, those backpacks on the other side of that wall back there. That's one of the results of Young Leaders Immersion program that we had here, internship that we had here this summer, where we brought high school students into the museum for 8 weeks, took them to all kinds of arts venues, the Met, the Apollo, and introduced them to jazz. And one of their final projects was What is Jazz? And we asked them to paint those backpacks. And so they're going to be on exhibit until the end of this year, and then we're going to sell them, and half of the proceeds will go to the kids who created them. So we get to do all kinds of things like that that bring the community inside of the museum. And we do that because of the support of amazing funders, amazing donors, and amazing people like you. So I would not be a good executive director if I did not point out to you that it is your support that keeps us going. You can contribute in a bunch of different ways. One is a little kiosk at the front desk. Another is on our website, www.jmih.org. Okay, now I get to introduce my friend. Melvis Santa and I met, I forget now, she'll correct me, but I'm just gonna make up a story because it's one of the things I do. I believe we met right here, and we became fast friends because what we saw in each other were not only kindred spirits, but aligned objectives when it comes to music, when it comes to jazz and education and performance. She and I have a couple of shared dreams together, but one of them was bringing jazz aligned with different artistic, physical, spiritual intersections here to the museum. So one of the projects that I'm so thrilled that Melvis has brought to life is a project called Jazz and the Orishas. So she explored the different Orisha chants and jazz and where those two intersect along the lines of history. Another is this project, Jazz and Percussion. So I'm going to read from you so that I don't leave out anything. Multi-instrumentalist Melvis Santa curates and hosts a special series of concerts and interviews titled Rítmicas, Women in Jazz and Percussion. This series will feature world-class percussionists and offer a close-up to herstory. This deep dive into percussion includes artists performing with their ensembles, discussing their artistic processes and influences. Each event will provide the audience with access to live music, live conversations, presentations, and Q&A. This is the second in this 4-part series. This jazz and percussion series is made possible with the generous support of the National Endowment for the Arts. Please welcome my friend and amazing artist, Melvis Santa.
Yes, ahora sí. Okay. Buenas noches. Good evening. Right away. Let me do it for you. It's a very formal setting because on purpose I wanted to keep it like friendly backstage, but we actually are in sacred space, which is the National Jazz Museum in Harlem, where amazing things had happened, and I'm really blessed to be witness of it. I'm not always in this side. I come often as audience. Sometimes you might find Buster Williams talking about his journey or sharing knowledge with students, and it happens in this very same stage, so I honor it too. But at the same time, I like to keep it fresh and natural because this is who we are behind the big stage. So, without further ado, I want you to show your love and put your hands together to receive my second guest for the Rítmicas series, Ivanna Cuesta. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Que lo que. I hope some people know that word already, I'm guessing.
Ya tú ves, y si no lo conocen, if they don't know it, they know it.
Yeah.
If you don't know, now you know. Okay, anyway, so before we start, we already started, but before we start our conversation, I'm going to read, so we are in the same page, who Ivanna Cuesta is. And this is just a simple resume paragraph. It starts like this. Ivanna Cuesta is an artist who has been turning heads since her graduation from the Dominican Republic Conservatory of Music in 2015 and Berklee College of Music in 2020. She is a drummer, composer, and educator born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Ivanna has been an active performer since her formative years, participating in important projects like Cari Jazz, Gustavo Rodriguez Trio, and the Music Conservatory Big Band, directed by Javier Vargas. I'm making sure that all the names have the right accent. In 2018, Ivanna officially joined the pipe cymbal family. Also, she won the first prize of Hit Like a Girl in 2019 contest, which granted her the opportunity to perform in PASIC 2019, or PASIC. I don't know how the pronunciation.
I don't know either. Don't ask me.
PASIC? PASIC? Okay, so you see.
Thank you.
Of course, the famous Indianapolis event. So she's also a 2022 Next Jazz Legacy awardee, shared by NEA Jazz Master and Next Jazz Legacy Artistic Director, Ms. Terry Lynn Carrington. This award allowed Ivanna the opportunity to work with and be mentored by Ms. Carrington herself, as well as Wayne Shorter and Esperanza Spalding. Based between Boston and New York City, Ms. Cuesta continues to be an in-demand side musician who is currently promoting her own work as band leader and a composer.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know
I
anything.
put some love in that because I know what it takes. Or I have a sense. Every artist's journey is different. So let's start with Ivanna's journey. This is what I read. This is what people might be access to. But this is a space where we want to hear from the artist. So how Ivanna describe Ivanna? Who is Ivanna?
You know, that's always, I think, like a really tough question because, yeah. Well, you know, I came from a family that is Dominican, like I was born there, but also half Colombian from my mom. And I basically, grew up there. You know, I love my island, but it's not too easy. So I think I'm a person that has a really I would say focus a lot in what I want, you know, like a really, someone that if I want this, I just gonna go for it, doesn't matter what it's gonna cost me. I think also a person of beliefs, you know, because in the art, I think almost everyone is Christian or Catholic or you believe in something, because that's, they are praying for you since you are, you know, you are a kid, like it's something, and you know, so I believe in my own stuff, but and I think also coming from my mom that, you know, she's immigrant in the art, and coming, being there since she was, I don't know, I think like 20 or something like that, you know, like struggling with a culture that is, it's amazing, but it's really different than from, I would say, South America, Central America, you know, and I think that's why I also consider myself like a really strong person, and I don't know, I think that's Ivanna in a way. Yeah.
Well, love for Ivanna.
Thank you.
Yeah. So straight to the subject that brings us together. Percussion is a little difficult to describe because it's such a broad style and field for many reasons. One of them is cultural reasons. But without getting in too deep in the cultural side of it, I want to hear, what was your first experience with rhythm, or basically a percussion inspiration story that connect you to explore that world?
Well, so it was weird. Even I grew up in Dominican Republic. I'm from there. But my father, you know, he's like he plays drum when he was young, you know, and I think, but not like Dominican music. Like in my house, it was just like Christmas was merengue, but that's for Christmas. Then during the rest of the year, it was just like fusion, which is kind of weird because we didn't have that accent. Like, I'm like, how you get this? How do you get this music? Like, you know, Pat Metheny or jazz or things like, you know, really that is not part of our culture in a way. So, you know, my father, always remember he was like, because drums is his favorite instrument, you know, he was just driving us to school and always playing. So I think I kind of like had that feeling already, like, oh, okay, that's what I actually start liking it, you know. But my mom, because there is the other part where it's like, well, like female and drums, you shouldn't be together. So my mom was like, well, what about piano? What about guitar? But I was, you know, eating and like doing this with my glasses. I was just like, yeah, really, really crazy kid. But then I remember in a church, I saw the first time, like when I was, I think, like 12, a drum set. And I remember the pastor was like, okay, we need someone to play drums. So I was just like, I want to do it. Like, I didn't know anything. It was like, I just want to do it. You know, that was like my, like, first thing that I was like, man, I want to play this. And I think drums is the, I would say, like, it's the instrument that you can have more fun with. You know, for me, it's like you don't have, it's not that you don't have to think, like, you really have to be good, I mean, in a way. But still, it's just like really playful. You know, you have so many instruments, you have so many different sounds, and if you are like a kid, you're gonna love that. So I remember I took some guitar classes, you know, for my mom, like, okay, yeah. But at the end, you know, I was just like stealing all her kitchen stuff and building a drum set in the backyard. You know, I had to do that. So that's the way how, in a way, like, I was myself, like, really curious, and because the music that I was listening to my father, it was like mainly drums. You know, like in fusion, you have all these drummers that have really big drum sets, and like the solos are like insane. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, I really love the noise right away.
That's very interesting that you say it, and you bring that fresh perspective to it, because sometimes when I'm in a context of teaching, some students say, for example, I'm hard at multitasking, and I'm like, number one, you are too young to say that word. Not allowed. You have to play, experiment, everything you want. And I'm talking about, you know, 7 years old, which is beautiful that they have a wonderful vocabulary. But at the same time, if you are starting to worry so early about different things, but if what you're saying is that you saw it as a game, as a world of possibilities, just focusing on the sounds and the different tones, and also, of course, the figure of your father doing it for you. So it's a very interesting connection to it, and a beautiful approach to music. So something that you enjoy first, and then you think of multitasking.
Yeah, it was, you know, I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I wish my father and my mom would, you know, put me in classes as a kid, because then I would be much better right now. But at least I had the experience of, I like it first, you know, it was my choice. It was nothing that my mom or my dad, like, you have to do this, you know, and yeah, and like having also like that influence that it was not just Dominican, because, oh, you have to play Latin music. It's also like my father exposed me to many genres of music, and my mom too, you know, even coming from Colombia, also she's really all the time is like, listen to this, like, this is also part of your culture in a way, you know. So yeah, I think the first thing is that you have to be in love with that. And I wasn't thinking about like making money. Like, I was already like in my mind, I know I can't do this as a living, especially in the art, you know, because it was really tough. I was the female in my house, the older one. So in a way, it was already like, you need to provide, and you need to make sure that your brother, you know, like, like you have to put the example. And music, in a way, it was not the first example that my mom, wants.
Interesting.
But now she's happy with me, so I'm okay. I'm like, okay.
I mean, you landed your first gig.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and this is another interesting connection that Tracy was mentioning just right before, as part of her introduction of this series, the intersection of music and spirituality. You didn't think of it, again, because it's one objective or a goal. You wanted to play that music, but the context where it happened to be in a sacred space.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, coming from churches, I don't know, I think it's, and I mean, for me, even now, I don't want to say like I'm part of a church right now, but still, like, I always gonna honor that moment, because that was the first time that I had my connection with music, and in a way, like, so for me, it was really special. I just remember, I just took like 4 lessons. I just knew one groove, one feel, and that was just like a slow, faster, slow, faster. That was what I did for a year, But in a way, I was like, I don't know, it just made me think like, oh, maybe I should do this, I just should continue.
That's already profound and very interesting. I'm taking notes. Okay, so let's move to the official education part. Once you already decide that percussion is what you want, you already landed your first gig, even not knowing what you're doing, but you have the passion, and that's the most important thing. So when did you, or where did you decide to complete your education? And I'm gonna link it to my next question. When did you decide to leave the art and travel to the US? Was it because of the music, or it was another opportunity?
No, yeah, it was because of music. I mean, music never, I would say, like, never was my first option at the beginning. Like I say, like, my mom was like, these are options that you can make money. But at the end, I was like, man, I mean, some people, like, they are the best in business school, and they end like a secretary. So I think it's kind of the same thing. I have the same option like everyone else, It just depends on the person and the opportunities. But yeah, I think also, like, when I decided to actually, like, I took, like, seriously, serious, like, music was when I was 17. So that's when I actually say always, like, that's when I started. Like, that's when I was like, okay, now I'm gonna start, practicing for real. So for me, even jazz was when I came here, because in the art, it's not that, well, there's some people that play jazz, but at the conservatory, I just had one professor, and he was just, like, playing a bunch of stuff. And, like, yeah, this is jazz. Ching, 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 one class. That's it. So for me, all of that was when I came here. And yeah, I mean, I got a scholarship at Berkeley. And, and okay.
Let's make. She got a scholarship at Berkeley. let's own it. It's not. Yeah. I know the feeling. We keep going, but this is the space to celebrate. The space to celebrate.
I like that.
And I say because I met Ivanna actually a few years earlier, and she was by herself, and she was so focused. We play in a band together, an all-female band, and we were touring all over the world with many situations. And the thing that always caught my attention about her is that in between our performances, she was finishing her school year and her projects, and she was doing all kinds of composition and arrangement in her laptop. And we're traveling, we're tired, and Ivanna is like,
I missed 2 weeks of school. Yeah, doing that.
She's like, I'm composing for a film now. So she finally graduated from Berkeley on 2020. And it's really admirable. So
it was, it was. I mean, I think the culture is also another part where I have, like, coming here alone and surviving, and, like, the language. I actually didn't speak English. The good part in music is that I remember in my classes I was like, they say something to me, I was like, let's play, and then I'm gonna understand what you mean. But before that, just no. I mean, let's play. And when you give me a sign, I'm gonna understand what you want, what you mean. But like, if you say that to me in English, I will be like, wait, what? So at least that was also good. That I choose a career that we have this language that we don't have to speak the same actually language in a way, but we have music. So in music, I gonna understand what you mean, in a way. So yeah.
And specifically, jazz is a context in which you can communicate in different levels. What is your experience, or what was your experience in college like when you first play with someone that you wanted to play or you admire, and then you had the opportunity to have them in front of you?
Oh yeah, I think I remember my first week at Berkeley. I saw Terry Lynn on the hallway. So when I was in the ER, I was just like, and I discovered YouTube. I was just like all the videos of Terry, Jerry Allen, Esperanza. All because I didn't know like there was. I mean, of course, I was like guessing, yeah, that there have to be more females, but it's not the first thing that if you look in jazz, they're gonna present you. It's not the first one. So when I started to discovering, oh man, I mean, these people, I remember the first time that I saw Terry, and she just say hi, and she continued walking. I was just like, and then, then I met her, and I would say, the first thing that I say, listen, I watch you so many times on YouTube. You don't understand what it's for me being here. Just listen to you. Just, like, you don't have to teach me anything. Like, I just, like, it's just like a dream. Coming from YouTube and now having you right there. I mean, it was
real
great.
life.
Real life, yeah.
But of course, it taught you so many things.
Oh no, yeah,
Oh my God. And that leads us to the next question: mentorship in jazz and in all traditional forms that come from roots. Mentorship is so important, and I guess it's really connected to African traditions of passing knowledge and oral tradition. What's mentorship for you, and specifically with the Next Jazz Legacy Award that you had the opportunity to work with Wayne Shorter? Oh my God.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well,
what was that?
Yeah. Well, I think something that I admire of some of I think of my mentors are, like, for example, Terry or Chris Davis to Francisco Mela, is that it's not that they are just gonna teach me like, okay, this is the way how you're gonna do it, and this is what you have to study, and just go and no, it's that we have a friendship. Like the friendships go first, and then they are teaching me, and it's not just about music. Like sometimes Chris called me and like, how are you? And we just talk about things, and because of course now she's like in all these big things, I'm learning not just about like music stuff, but also like how I don't know what to do in a recording. For example, she's recording my album, or like all these things that I was just like, man, I mean, for these people, humans go first, and then music. It's like we as a humans. That's the first thing, and the legacy, that program. Also, I really love it because it connects you also with more female, or non-binary people too. So I didn't know too much. Like at Berkeley, we have a community, but small. But this program has been amazing because now, for example, the piano player Ivanna, like, was through this program in a way that I also, she's also an award right now. So for me, I was like, oh man, look, I just called her like, wait, what do you do? Let's do this gig, and working with Wayne. I mean, I remember the first conversation that we had. This was like 2 hours. He goes to one point and then he do this, then he come back. I remember that, like, I was like, where are we going with this conversation? But then he always landed in the same point. I was like, whoa, man, this is so deep, So yeah, I mean, I think besides whatever they do in music, it's just the way how they are as human beings. That's what is more important for me when I look at, when I, like, I would say, consider you as a mentor, and all these people is been like that.
See, for me, it's the intangible things, the things that we cannot touch but are there, and that's part of the cultural experience. Yeah. It doesn't matter which specific culture it is. If you have a community, if you have people that live with you, that exchange with you, there is certain things that get created, and that informs your music ultimately. So talking about culture, and this will be the last question for this first part of the interview. I think rhythm is very personal, I guess everybody agrees that rhythm is personal, but it's also cultural, like food, like language, like fashion expression. So for you, what's your rhythm inside of other rhythms? How do you make? I know.
Wait.
I know.
You had to translate that because now I'm like, wait, what is rhythm?
What's your relationship with rhythm? And how you connect? For example, coming from Dominicana, you have something that is very Dominican. Let's focus on instrument, for example. Like, what is something that you know that is yours and nobody can take away from you, like a rhythm or maybe something like an instrument? And how do you make the connection from that to other space like jazz music? It's kind of open, the question, but I guess you understand, yeah.
I think I understand. But what I would say is...
At least you do it. You do it. Maybe you don't have to say it, but let's try.
Okay, I'm going to try my best, guys. So for me, rhythm is like the fundamental, rhythm usually go first for me and everything. I think, and in Dominican, there are some, I would say that there are some instruments, here there are some Dominican people. I hope you know your instruments, right? Like guira, tambor.
No, pero now you are Dominican. You are the Republic.
I always
right now, you have to. What I meant to say, and that's what the bilingual glitch. Now you are the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So don't assume that people know. Explain very, like 3 instruments, something like that. Like
okay.
You already know. No.
I actually had one here. Wait, let me.
You see? That's a very Dominican thing to do. Like me, I go out with my claves in my bag. So you go with your. What is that? I know what it is, but let me. Oh my God! What is that?
Okay, so this is la guira, right? So, okay, I shouldn't play with...
Let me hold it.
Thank you so much. Gracias. Okay, so for me, this is the one, this is the instrument that in a way, how you say como que lo amarra?
Holds?
Yeah, hold everyone together, right? So I actually take this one really serious. For me, if I'm playing like something Latin, usually this is the one that I need that because this guy is the one that stayed there all the time, and everyone kind of dance around that,
And let me do a little pause right there. That's such an important bit of information, of knowledge, because that guides everybody trying to dance. Now you know that you have to go to the guira player. Go to the guira player.
If you don't know how it sounds, okay. So you can use I don't know how it's called, the thing that the guys use.
Say in Spanish.
No, espérate. La peineta.
A pick? No, her pick.
Exactly.
Or comb,
so
her
usually,
pick.
If you are like a really someone that actually play that, you're probably gonna use that. But for me, right now I don't have that, so I'm using the brushes. But yeah, this is for me this instrument in a way. Even it's small and like the tambora, of course, it's probably what people more knows about it. But I think this one is the one that hold everyone together. Like this is the one that in the tempo, this probably is gonna be like the metronome, right there.
Let's try it right now.
What do you want to do?
No, you are the master. I'm following you. I'm following you.
So you can. Okay, so I don't know. Let's play. also like the Dominican, like in the Caribbeans, we have different claves too, like, you know. So people usually know the. Agárrame ahí. Thank you. So you probably know the, let's say, the rumba clave, right? Okay, she's from Cuba. Please let me know. But for us, for example, in the merengue, if you are playing pambiche, like those are like the merengue have like, like it is divided in different stuff, like merengue en primeras, segunda, pambiche, things like that. And a clave that I usually notice is, that's more Caribbean even. So we also have like a clave when we are playing. I also didn't know that too much, and then I start playing with some people and they are like, oh, we changed the clave here to 2-3, or we are doing this.
Let's try that. Pa, 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 pa. Eso, ay. And if maybe we can have another group doing the tempo. Pa, 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 pa. Eso. Canta, canta.
No, hasta ahí.
Un aplauso para Ivana.
That's the only thing that I don't do. I don't sing.
Oye, ya con eso se forma la fiesta. Yeah. With that, we are partying already. Open the door. So nice, so nice. It's the community vibe. Yeah. So those are part of the foundational cultural rhythm for you. Yeah. How do you move from there to
this, to what I do right now?
The open room.
Well, I think it gave me being someone really solid when I'm playing, to understand that time is important, understanding that consistent, especially as a drummer, like it's really important. So this this instrument, I mean, besides also that it opens the door to play with a lot of people that is like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, this is a groove from my country, and I just put in this in a tune of mine, or like in another, it's like it's just like open a possibility to be more creative when you are playing, because now you have different influence, and that's, I think that's the beauty, coming from another country and playing and trying to put our culture in this kind of music, like in jazz, I would say.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Un aplauso para Ivana. And I'm really excited to hear this music live. Her album just came out. We're going to talk about the album.
It's no merengue. I just want to let you know from the top.
Whatever you play, we just want to hear. But of course, it's your creation, and I think that's very valuable.
Yeah.
That's our footprint in this world and as artists. So I just want to invite the band that you brought today.
Yeah, I think
get ready for your performance. We are going to do the first part of her performance. Then we take a little break in which Elijah will come and tell you about this wonderful exhibition that we have at the museum. And then we will have a second set. So if you have friends that are on their way, or if they don't have plans yet, tell them, come by, this is a free event, music is coming, and Ivanna is playing. So let's make it happen. Ivanna introducing the band.
Okay, guys, so we have on piano Yvonne Rogers. She's great. On bass, Pablo Menares, right? And on sax, my brother Ben Solomon. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, guys. So that's one tune from my album. The the album name is A Letter to the Earth. Then we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But the first tune is called Chaos, and you probably could hear that. You know, it's like, wow, what the heck? Like a lot of things happening. But yeah, it's that tune is more about basically like living in a city, you know. And I think after pandemic, I had a little bit of like hard time coming back to this kind of rhythm again of life, you know, and sounds and like, wait, there is no time for anything. There is no space. We are just like all the time doing this. So yeah, so that's the first tune, and now we're gonna play another one of my composition, and the name of this one is Ongoing Cycles. Thank you, guys. Yeah, that was ongoing cycles. Has an explanation too, but let's go to the next one. And yeah, so also I was I want to introduce some compositions of some of my mentors, and the one that we're gonna do right now, it's called. ¿Cómo que tú dices eso? Diets on Ribbons. Thank you so much. And that's a tune by Chris Davis, an amazing piano player. So yeah, I hope you like it. you, thank you. And now we have Melvis.
And her wonderful musicians, Yvonne Ryers on piano, Ben Solomon on saxophone, and Carlos Menares on bass. So we're gonna take a little break, just a very short break, so you know about this wonderful, thank you, exhibit that is in the museum at the moment. And for that, Elijah is your guy. He's coming. He got it all together. So you guys take a little break, drink a little water, some water, and we come back shortly to know more about A Letter to Earth.
Give it up one more time for Ivanna, Cuesta. We're going to see them very shortly again, but my name is Elijah Maduro. I work here in the Education and Production Department. I'm the Education Production Specialist. I'm working live sound as well right now. But I want to take just a couple minutes of your time just to talk about this wonderful exhibit. We've had this exhibit here since the beginning of August, since we've launched our Afro-Latin Roots of Jazz month, where we always have that every August, every year. And this time we decided to collaborate with Willie Rodriguez, one of the co-founders of the International Salsa Museum, and he collaborated with us to curate this wonderful, beautiful, beautiful tribute to just some of the most amazing salsa, mambo, like Latin artists of multi-generations. And we've had this up for about a couple of months now. It's now the middle of October, which I can't believe I'm saying. But we've had this up for about 2 months now, and it has changed since we've had it previously. Well, some of the photos, if you have already been here at the museum previously, have changed. Some of them have stayed the same, but we've also acquired some new items as well. And this was, and this is going to continue to be an evolving exhibit. And in the coming, hopefully in the coming months, we'll also be able to hear and see some more of this wonderful exhibit eventually later on. And we hope that the International Salsa Museum also finds their permanent home as well. And just please, please take the time to look around, look at, and just memorialize all these beautiful, amazing Latin salsa artists. And it's just walking around, knowing personally, my grandfather was also involved in Latin music scene as well. He's played with some of these greats. And it's to be able to see a lot of these musicians just up here and a lot of the rich history, it's really hitting close to home. So please take the time. I encourage you guys to go and just walk through and even just read a little bit about every single musician that you'll see. And some of them you may not see again. So please, please, please take your time with this exhibit. But until then, I will leave you with a little bit of music for the time being. Those of you who are on live stream, please stay tuned. We will be back very, very shortly with our second part of the interview and the second part of our performance.
Estamos apoyando el talento que tú. No, no estamos aquí apoyándola, tú sabes.
See, see. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Please take your seats. We are ready to start the second part of the program. Oh, okay. Oh, great, wonderful. Wonderful, yeah. Thank you so much. Spread the word. We are here. Yeah, yeah, supporter, yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah. Her debut album, yeah. So you're gonna miss actually the details about it because we're gonna talk about it right now. Stay, come on. Stay. Okay, okay. Okay. So welcome back, welcome back. Bienvenidos otra vez a esta segunda parte del concierto con Ivanna Cuesta Quartet. Yes. I feel really, really proud to have this opportunity, and I take this moment again to thank the National Jazz Museum in Harlem for opening this space. They invited me to curate a series about jazz and percussion, and I said we have to make it about women in jazz and percussion. And I say it with an open heart, not trying to create a war or anything of gender, but the reality is that the female perspective, specifically in percussion, has been rarely talked about, and it's this space and this opportunity, thanks to Tracy and the staff of the museum, which is a wonderful team, gave that opportunity. So please check the series, go to the website, and we open with a Brazilian samba reggae ensemble that is right here in New York City, Danger Phoenix, and her powerful 14-member band of Batala, New York. And today is the second night of that series with Ivanna Cuesta Quartet. I have with me this wonderful piece of art, which is her music, her legacy, that started with this recording, her debut album, and the music that you just heard before. If you come back, you will listen again to some other tracks, are all inside this testament for Ivanna. It's called A Letter to Earth, and I see a great lineup right here. Let's start talking about that. It says Ivanna Cuesta, Chris Davis on piano, Ben Solomon, and Max Ridley. Why do you choose that particular ensemble, that lineup?
Well, it's people that, well, Chris is one of my mentors, and then Ben is the one actually is playing sax tonight. So yeah, and we studied together, and Max is a really good friend of mine too, and an amazing bass player. But I think I choose all of them because they are, I think, first of all, they respect music. You know, they actually respect me as a composer. They give me a lot of ideas too, but at the same time, it's just like the way how they listen when we are playing. You know, and it's not like I'm gonna put something so I sound better. It's like how we're gonna make the whole thing sounds better. You know, so I think because of the maturity that they have, I choose them, and also amazing people.
Beautiful, and that connects to what we were talking about, not just the music for the sake of the craft itself, but how it integrates to your everyday life and the affinity that you develop with people. That's really important, especially I think in the connection with culture and percussion and your own rhythm. So in that sense, okay, what is the musical concept behind the album? Because it talks about, you are referring to the earth, and are you writing a letter? Is it a complaint letter? What is it? Tell us what is it?
Yeah, well, so the idea came from, something that is also, I'm really passionate about is like everything related with nature, you know, and I think climate change is something that is happening every time. You know, it's like you can actually see it, and I think coming from Dominican, I remember, you know, going to different places, like to some rivers around, and it's like, oh, they are gone. You know, so I start noticing, like, the way how it's affecting us as an island. So I was just like, you know what, I want to try to, first, like, to do a music with that topic, but especially, like, talking about it, and at least putting that idea, or like, you know, it's something that is happening, you should be aware of, and people maybe start to asking their own questions, like, wait, what I'm doing to, you know, not be part of the problem, you know, maybe with things that we buy every day and we are not thinking about it. So for me, it came from especially from Dominican, because I think we sometimes don't pay too much attention to the beauty that we have, and we in a way are kind of like destroying it, you know, with things that we do every day.
That's the one of the essence of jazz music, to speak about the times that we are living, and also you're calling out people through music. So you're becoming an art advocate with your message. That's what I'm understanding. Yeah. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. You know, it's just like maybe in spaces that people, you know, don't talk too much about that. It's like, well, I think that's important for me in particular. So, you know, that's something that I really interesting about that. And I think in jazz, it's also the best, I think, you know, type of art where you can explore Like it's not that I wrote like a song, like with lyrics. I mean, there is one track that is actually a poem, because I also was like, well, people maybe is not gonna understand with music like the whole thing, but at least I understand also that with words, you know, you can be more direct with people. But yeah, I'm just trying, I think, to open that conversation also in spaces that it's not the normal one. It's not
Is
the normal
that
one.
humans versus humans? Is that the one?
Well, humans versus human. It's yeah. It's it. I mean, well, that I don't know. Maybe we can play it tonight. But yeah, that one, for example, it's about it's what we sometimes develop and create, and that's how, and those things are also destroying us in a way. So you know, so every song has something related with the topic. You know.
So yes, guys, you definitely have to check Ivanna's first album. She already went in directly diving into the project. I think it's very brave of you to in your first album connecting in with such global concerns that we should actually have in our everyday life. It's again Ivanna Cuesta on drums and electronics, and we are going to talk about that, the electronic side and the composer side of Ivanna, with Chris Davis on piano and Ben Solomon, who you are listening tonight. Yes, the track listing is Chaos, Humans versus Humans, A Letter to the Earth, Ongoing Cycles, Duality, y Este Lugar. Este Lugar, this place. You can purchase the album tonight. Of course, the artist can sign it for you, so don't lose that opportunity. On the front desk, there is Kenneth that he can, hook you up. So let's. There is a question that before we go to music, I don't want to take too much time of the music. You've been a wonderful audience, but we need to hear from you. Hit Like a Girl was one of the awards that one of the many awards you have already achieved. And the first time I heard that phrase, I was like, what? But of course, it's sarcastic because then you say Hit Like a Girl, and then you hear Ivanna, it's like, oh, okay. So it's not sarcastic at all. It's actually, yes, this is how girls are supposed to hit. So, well, of course, this is a funny comment, but what is being the winner of such daring contest, but also what is hitting like a girl for you? What's your experience as a woman in percussion in the context of male-dominated, Again, I'm not trying to start a war. I'm just reclaiming space. So we have to hear from the actual.
Yeah, well, I mean, that prize, it also was a surprise for me, because I didn't expect something like that. I think it opened for me also my mind to see a community of, different percussionists and all ages. Like it doesn't, it was not just like I was, I think, 20-something at that time, but it was people like in their 50s. So, it was amazing for me to, oh, wait, there is actually a community around.
It's not just you.
It's not just me, yeah. Exactly. But I think, usually, I think in the past, usually I was in bands that are like 100% guys and only the female. And it's still happening a lot, but I think I don't know, I think we bring something different in the sense maybe more of, I think we are a little bit more collaborative with people. Like we are not, at least me, I don't try to judge like right away. This person is not gonna, they don't know how to play. I'm just like, wait. I mean, I think what I understand in the community, in the female community, is like, we don't put that ego yet there right away. I think because we are really small still, we just, try to help each other. And
there is a
like
sound and a feel.
Yeah, and and sound. I think when I choose people, I don't choose them because you are female and you're a guy. Like I really don't care about that. I just care about
And this is beautiful. I just want to honor what you just said. It's
I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see like gender. I would say I think it's maybe more like the way how people is seeing music. at the moment. And like, oh, I want to connect with you because you have something that, like, you know, music is really personal for you, and I can see that the way how you play, the way how you sound, the way how you listen. So for me, that's what is important. It's not like if you are a guy, but of course, at the same time, now discovering that there's so many, you know, talented women, I'm like, whoa, wait, give me a second. And also, I also sometimes feel different because, yeah, I hang out a lot with guys, you know, but sometimes, you know, the gossip, you know, the female, like, man, so this happened, and that kind of, it's like the connection is still a little bit different, like, you know, when we are between us in a way. But I never gonna, like, put like 50-50 or things like that. I think I just see more like the heart and the way how they live, what they play, you know.
That's beautiful. I think it's a moment to open for the audience. If you have any question for Ivanna specifically, it could be regarding the music, it could be where's her next show, or if she doesn't have a show, it could be a proposal for a show. We are looking for opportunities.
Yeah, please.
So yeah, any question, please? Any topic, anything. Like who make her haircut, you know.
I don't go to the
just
salon.
engage. You see? That's very
That's
so
it.
you do it
No, lo
yourself?
siento. I can't.
You do it yourself?
Well, I mean, you say like if I cut my hair?
Sí, tú te
No,
lo
I
haces.
just go to someone, super fast. But I don't go, you know, like a Dominican, I mean, it's like a whole day. Like you have to go and then talk
part
and
of
like
the
cafe
culture,
and like
yeah.
you are like in that. I can't do that anymore. Like so sorry.
You see that was a good question. Okay, someone else?
You know, rhythm is the essential form of life, the sign of wave. It's in the moon, it's in the sea, it's in so many things. And since you became a drummer, how did that affect you personally, as a person, as a human being, in your life?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think as a drummer, I think it made me a little bit more, because like you say, because I think percussion is in everything, you know, like pulse, rhythm, you know, is in everything. So I think it opened my mind to be more aware and to be more curious about other culture, other people, and the way, you know, like, oh, I wanna know. I think because, you know, everyone has their own percussion, probably, you know, instruments. So for me, it's like, oh, wait, I want to learn your culture, because it's not the same in piano. Like, there is piano, that's it. You know, maybe you play some melodies, but the instrument is like, it's that, you know,
Well,
it doesn't
the piano
change.
is percussion too.
You say what?
The
Well, it's
piano
a
is also
yeah,
percussion,
but
yeah.
what I mean is like, you know, like I have the guira, and my guira is different than your guiro, or, you know, like, so for me, it's just like, I think made me more sensitive to other people, and like to be more curious, to learn more from you, from your culture. Like, okay, now I understand, you know. And the way also, I think, I don't know, I think also the way how we speak, I always notice, like in music, like for me as a Dominican, I speak in music terms like staccato, ka 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 ka, and I understand now, like, oh, okay. And then if I see the Cuban, they are more like legato, you know. So for me, even I really try to find a way, like, how can I communicate with you? And when you are singing, I'm like, okay, it's more this way. For me, for us, it's more like cha cha cha, you know. So even in that small things and maybe stupid things, but it's just like, I don't know, make me more aware of the person.
Wow. Is it one more? Oh, yeah.
What drummers influence you as a musician?
Yeah, well, some of them, of course, Sterling Carrington, you know, Elvin Jones, Francisco Mela, that also is like someone really close to me. Jack DeJohnette is one of my favorite. Paul Motion. I think also it depends in which process I am in my life, you know, because right now I'm more like into free stuff. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I love these guys, you know, but I think I had like a process of different drummers.
Free, which is not really free because there is a whole thing
Yeah,
behind.
exactly. Yeah,
So
exactly.
mention the names, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pole motion, I would say, you know, well, Francisco Mela is right now doing that, Andrew Cyril, and yeah, so,
That's
you know,
my
there's,
favorite.
yeah, it's great.
I say you mention all of them are men.
Well, I say Terry Lynn Carrington. Yeah, Terry Lynn Carrington is like my mom.
How do you feel being a drummer in a, in a man's world?
Ongoing cycles. Yeah, that was the first question. That was the very first question. Ongoing cycles. We are trying to change that.
Yeah,
So for you discovering that there were a whole world of women,
yeah.
but we just don't know because there is
Yeah,
no
yeah,
space for them.
yeah, exactly. I mean, also like there is another great Dominican drummer, Helen de la Rosa. Like she plays with Alejandro Sanz. Well, I think she was playing with Alejandro Sanz.
Helen,
you know.
Alejandro, aquí estamos
So you,
hablando ustedes.
so you know, like
This
I
is-
mean, there are females that are in freaking high positions, like you know, and for me, I'm just like, wow, man. I mean, that's great.
So it's accessibility and
Mhm.
visibility that
Yeah.
we are advocating for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so representation does matter,
Yeah.
do matter. Yes, last one, because we want to hear music too.
Es que lo
But
que-
yeah, uh-oh.
Me conoce.
So you mentioned that when you were 17, you decided, okay, I'm gonna go serious in practicing. I'm wondering how your approach to practicing has evolved. How is it different now than when you started?
Yeah, well, you know, at the beginning it was like 8 hours. 8 hours just like playing, I don't know, rudiments, like learning as much as I can. Also because at 17, like already I was like a little bit, maybe, you know, for people it's like, oh, you are older already. Like coming to take this really serious, usually people, or some people start like with 7 years old, you know? So for me, it was just like, I need to, you know, catch up really fast. But right now, you know, I don't have too much time. I try at least an hour. But I think what I start to develop more, it was like mental practicing. I try, you know, when I'm listening, it's just like, you know, just be more, paying more attention, and like if I can't play the drums for a gig, but I have the music, I just gonna read it. So I think it's just like having that practice because, yeah, every time it's like less time. We don't have too much time. So
That's
yeah.
very interesting that you're sharing your process in the middle of your already, you know,
Yeah.
career, because people usually don't know. I mean, general public
Yeah.
usually don't know how we make it. They only see the final result,
Yeah.
and you know, the photos and the good part, but
Yeah, I think
rarely
you
we
just-
talk about this.
Yeah, I
so
think you just have to know, you know, what it works for you. So if it's something super complicated, of course I need to at least have 3 days in the drums. Like, okay, I need to learn this. And I prefer everything, do it by memory too. So that's the other thing. Like, and it takes me a little bit sometimes. But if not, man, I just like practicing. I'm counting usually like tunes, or just try to listen as much things I can. So if someone asks me something, I know what you're talking about, you know? So it's like, I think I'm going more mental right now instead of just physically, because sometimes I really don't have time to do that.
wow. And how do you do your nails or your
I,
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. That's the response. Un aplauso para Ivanna.
Gracias.
Cuesta. At the end of the night and at the beginning of the day, a constant in our lives, music saves us and music makes us, you know, keep going and keep pushing. So I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you.
More than you're doing. Keep it up. Don't give up, and keep with that beautiful energy going forward, moving forward, because you already are a figure that inspire many
Thank you.
people, and of course many women. So thank you, Ivanna.
Thank you. I also want to say thank you to the National Jazz Museum. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Melvis and Rítmicas. So yeah, I hope
Let's
to
do
do it
that.
again.
Let's do that.
Thank-
Rítmicas.
Rítmicas.
Rítmicas. Eso. Tracy, please say the final words. Yes, because we're gonna just end with the music, but before.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your talent and for being here and taking time to be here. Thank you. And thank you to all of you. Thank you for hanging out. I know it's cold and it's dark and it's late and yesterday it was summer and today it's winter. But so you guys are troopers. I'm wearing, look, 2 shirts, a t-shirt, a coat. Yesterday I wasn't. But you guys are here and you came and you hung out. So thank you so much. I want to say two things. One is I want to say thank you to the staff, to the interns, to the people behind the scenes. You were talking about process. What you don't often get to see is the people who do all the work behind the scenes to make this happen. So a special thank you to the wonderful people who work here. And, oh, thank you. And the other thing, sort of in the same vein, I don't usually shout out anybody, but I do want to shout out tonight the people who are the arts administrators, not just here, but all over, who work so hard to keep the arts alive, to keep music alive, live music alive, and to keep jazz alive. It's really important that we acknowledge who these people are because everybody works so hard so that we can all appreciate moments like this. So thank you for being here. And remember to support us. Oh, yeah, buy the CD.
Thank you, thank you. And I think that's it. So this one actually was the song "A Letter to the Earth," and yeah, I think it's I just try to write I would say my feelings and what I think about this place, and I mean I think my frustrations and like also happiness, and yeah, I hope you like it. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming. And Melvis, you have something? Oh, and give it up again, please, for Yvonne Rogers on piano, Ben Solomon on sax, and Pablo Menares on bass. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you, Melvis. This has been a wonderful series. You've done such a great job curating. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next event will be October 22nd next week.
Oh, yeah. No, is that next week? No, the week after.
The week after, so October 22nd, and it's gonna be a very special guest. I'm totally biased. It's my sister, Brenda Navarrete. She's a wonderful percussionist. You will see. You have to come. You just have to come. I won't start there. But yeah, so that's the next one, and we finish this for initial. I feel like we have to make it happen somehow. But we give more opportunity to women. But it's only 4 events this time in this edition. Like I said, we started with Danger Phoenix, Ivanna today. Thank you, Ivanna, again. Brenda Navarrete on October 22nd, and I will close the series on November 5th. So thank you so much. Spread the word, and have a good night. Thank you.